We're going to reconvene to open session and call to order at 6 o'clock. And please be advised that a recording is being made at the direction of the board and that the recording may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. A link to the live Spanish interpretation of the Zoom meeting will be posted on both Facebook and our district website for anyone who would like to listen.
Se publicará un enlace en Facebook y en el sitio web del distrito para acceder a la interpretación en vivo en español de la reunión por Zoom para quienes desean escucharla.
Thank you. And then 4.2, report of actions taken in closed session. There were none. 4.3, attendance roll call. Student Representative Enriquez is absent. President Reed here. Clerk Rios.
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Lopez Jones.
Here.
Trustee Rothberg Allen.
Here.
Okay, 4.4, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
4.5, our district mission statement. At Calistoga, we empower students to graduate with respect, empathy, integrity, and the skills needed for success in life and work. We provide a supportive, inclusive environment where students gain essential academic knowledge, critical thinking abilities, and real-world skills. Our goal is to ensure all students feel a sense of belonging, are prepared for future opportunities, and graduate with pride, resilience, and a passion for lifelong learning. 5, public comment on open session items, public business from the floor on non-agenda items.
We have two comments. First, we have Rebecca Sager, who wants to speak about music and arts at CES.
Read the, yeah, so while Dr. Sager's coming up, I'll read that this portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Thank you.
Is there a timer that I could see or? There's a time limit, right? I wondered if there was a timer that I could see.
Oh, I
Right.
don't know.
I'm gonna wing it. Hello, everybody. I am here because I believe I'm in a room of people that, like me, put children first. And my North Star since being informed that my contract was being non-renewed has been to do the very best that I can for the children while I can. And it's in that spirit that I'm here today. The new position that was just posted that would replace mine defies logic if you're versed in the extensive literature on the benefits of music learning. Folks with credentials are supposed to teach the subjects that they're teaching. And you're denying the maximum benefits of music learning for over 200 students. And here's why. How learning works from a brain science perspective is that learning builds knowledge on what we already know, and students benefit when their home cultures are present in the curriculum. And I'm better versed in culturally sustaining pedagogy than most music educators, but you're not even looking for a music educator. Every lesson, every repertoire choice that I make, I'm always asking, how can I bring every student's home culture and interests into the classroom and celebrate them on campus to create that space for the belonging that's part of our mission statement. Only a credentialed music teacher can help students reap the enormous benefits of music reading and instrument learning. I've given you a handout about music reading and why that is so important. To summarize my reading in this literature, We know a lot about what's going on in the brain now. And I've learned that we don't yet know if and which brain networks process both music and language, but we can be sure that there's definitely parallel processing. And what research does show is that improvement of sight to sound connections in music, in other words, learning to read music, learning to write music, which is the core of the curriculum I've developed, improves sight to sound connections. In other words, helps students learn to read. And then there's also the benefits of instrument learning, which is also something that I've worked very hard to develop. And you have another handout there, and I encourage you to take a look at that particular video. And I encourage you also, with respect to the research on music and the benefits of instrument learning, there's a chapter in here that goes into music, brain and the arts. And my point with this and also is anybody in the room here very familiar with the arts standards, the current arts standards? At the end of the arts standards, they make a cogent argument for why the arts matter. In our culture, often the arts are second place, and generally music is also thought to be second place. Most of the literature about the benefits of the arts comes from the benefits of music. Music is not like the other arts. It is better than the other arts. Music engages the entire brain body in a way that no other human activity does. There's lots of research showing, people are arguing that music came before language. So I just urge you to rethink your program change because it's robbing our children of the benefits of music reading, instrument learning, and culturally sustaining music programming. Thank you.
You. Next up.
We also have a public comment that was submitted via email from a parent, and so I will read her comment. Dear members of the Calistoga School Board, I am writing to express my strong support for adopting a district-wide policy to limit student screen time across all grades. This is a timely and important opportunity for Calistoga to follow the leadership of the Los Angeles Unified School District, which recently approved comprehensive limits on classroom screen use. In April 2026, LAUSD unanimously passed a resolution establishing a developmentally appropriate screen time limits, including restricting device use for younger students and reducing reliance on digital media in the classroom. Their decision reflects the growing national recognition that the rapid expansion of classroom technology, especially post-pandemic, has outpaced the evidence supporting the benefits. Research increasingly shows that excessive screen time is associated with measurable negative outcomes for children. Studies have linked higher screen use to increased anxiety, depression, and behavioral issues. Beyond mental health, there are clear concerns about learning and development. Evidence suggests that excessive screen exposure can negatively affect attention, literacy, and overall academic outcomes, especially when it replaces hands-on interactive learning. For younger children, increased screen time has been associated with delays in language and social development. When technology is used intentionally and in moderation, it can support learning. Current trends suggest overuse rather than balance. Many districts are shifting towards structured limits, proposing no device use in elementary grades and strict caps through middle school. Calistoga has the opportunity to take a thoughtful, proactive approach by establishing clear, age-appropriate limits on daily and weekly screen time, minimizing or eliminating device use in early elementary grades, prioritizing hands-on, paper-based, and discussion-driven learning, providing guidance on when technology meaningfully enhances instruction, supporting families in reinforcing healthy screen habits at home. This is ultimately about protecting student well-being, improving focus and academic outcomes, and fostering stronger social and developmental skills. Other districts are already moving in this direction. Calistoga should not fall behind. Thank you for your leadership and your commitment to creating the best possible learning environment for our students. I would welcome the opportunity to support or participate in further discussions on this issue.
Who is that from?
Sorry, that's from Elizabeth Tangji, parent of a CES student.
All right, item 6, information discussion. 6.1, discussion of trustee diploma certificate presentations. Trustees will determine which members shall present certificates, diplomas at the upcoming June promotion and graduation ceremonies, which are June 9th, CES 6th grade promotion, June 10th, CJHS 8th grade promotion, and June 11th, CHS graduation. Who wants what?
I'll go to all three, please.
I'll do the CES, June 9th.
I think I can do all three.
All three? Fantastic. Indira, any that you can attend?
The one, I mean, I can go to the three of them or whatever is needed.
Yeah.
But Friday, I mean, the 11 will be my preference.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about put me down for the 10th and 11th? Yes, thank you. Great.
Okay.
You.
Okay. Okay, that brings us to 6.2, Citizens Bond Oversight Committee Report.
Do you want me to do it? I guess. Maureen and I are going to tag team this. Our representative from Van Pelt was on her way and she might be sitting in traffic, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, this is our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee report for the 24-25 school year. So the report, we meet 4 times a year as an oversight committee. We have currently, if you could go to the next page, Cynthia, the CBOC membership. There you go. We currently have 4 members, and those are their various roles within the community. Thank you.
Oh, there. Okay.
I'm good right now.
Perfect.
Perfect.
That's your second page
Yep.
and then you'll just go.
Perfect. And then along with that, Dr. Pittman, myself, and Chris usually attend along with some representatives from Van Pelt. Can I clarify one thing? Oh, yes. That this report is for 24-25. So really we have 5 people, but this report is only going to reflect the 4 from previous. Yes. So everything I'm talking about is for the 24-25 school year and not this year. Okay. This is just the charter regulations for how to form a CBOC and what types of members you are supposed to have on your committee. This is the statement of compliance, and that means that the committee is signing off saying that everything that we have done related to Measure A and Measure B expenditures are relative to what the voters voted for in the both the 2010 bond and the 2022 bond. So this is a layered oversight of bond expenditures. It's talking about the oversight committee does get together. We look at all the expenditures of all the different projects that are happening. And we do have an independent auditor that must independently audit. Oh, she's here. Yay. I'm going to have you take over after this slide if that's okay. We do have an independent auditor that must come in and independently audit both Measure A and both Measure B bonds, and they do come to the board as separate reports. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kelly Jurgensen, who is our Van Pelt representative and probably had a lot of traffic to tend with on her way here. Come on over.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. When you said I was early in the agenda, you were not kidding. All right, so up here you can see that we have a quick summary of the audit, the amount that the auditors tested, and for both bonds and the outcome. So in summary, there were no findings in the financials or with the performance with either one of the bonds. So very good. And is there a way to advance? Sorry. Thank you. There we go. All right. In the report, we also summarize the major items reviewed at each meeting. So we like to have a mixture of visiting the sites to understand what the construction is and what we're actually building, as well as reviewing facilities master plan and looking at bond sales. So there's a little bit of a different mixture of items each time. And then obviously at the end of each fiscal year, we have to look at, spend a good deal of time on this report with the committee, because while staff assists in the writing of the report, it's really the committee that determines what kind of information they want to share with the public. All right, bond projects. So just a quick summary of where we're at with both measures A and B. We have completed riverbank restoration at the elementary school, classroom modernizations, placement and of portables, parking lot resurfacing, water line repairs, an additional shade structure, and some additions to the art docent and storage space. So that goes back from 22 moving forward. At Calistoga Junior Senior High School, there were some updates to the Black Box Theater. There were also classroom modernizations, field replacement, which was the big exciting thing that we did here recently, and then obviously our beautiful STEM building on the corner. So a lot of good investments here at the high school location. And then ongoing projects. So coming up next, we are beginning just the initial planning on kitchen modernization work at the elementary school. As everybody knows, if you've been at the elementary school, our new TK building is well underway. So that's pretty exciting, and we'll be ready for that in the fall. And this summer, we will begin a generator project that will help build in some resiliency at both of the campuses in the case of power outages. So that's going to be going on for a little while. We're going to start with a lot of the heavy work over the summer, but it will bleed into the school year, but won't be very impactful. Then we'll be working as a team to come up with projects from the facilities master plan that'll be prioritized for the remaining bond funds. This is the implementation plan, which is hard to read on the screen, but it's our overall bond program and budgeting. And this is a snapshot in time. This report is based upon the completion of the previous fiscal year. So recently, our bond program team has been looking at updates to budgets and getting ready for those next few projects. All right, so major takeaways and observations we have the prior observations that we just keep a record of from report to report. And then in addition to that, we have a summary of some of the bond sales and some of the work that began, similar to what I've summarized in the past few slides. Attachments. So along with this report, and it will be available on the district's website, you can also access meeting minutes from each of the meetings for the CBOC, the audits, both performance and financial audits for both A and B, and then also the bond language for each one. So we'll return until every dollar is expended from Measure B and all of the funds are done with these reports on an annual basis. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Kelly. Glad you made it.
Thanks.
Oh, any questions? Well, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
That brings us to item 7, correspondence, the 7.1 Napa County Office of Education letter, second interim report.
Yes, so we received our annual letter related to the second interim report from the Napa County Office of Education, who reviews our second interim. They analyze it and they provide us feedback. They have concluded that, yes, we still have a positive certification and they support that outlook. They also remind us to be mindful of our deficit spending and our cash flow to ensure that we have the money in the bank to pay the bills. And then thinking as we look out at our multi-year projections to ensure that we continue to keep a healthy reserve and be mindful of the deficit spending that we're having.
Thank you. So now we're to number 8, reports. First up is the Calistoga Junior High School student representative, but
That would be me representing Mr. Morgan and his junior high ASB group. They were unable to make it this evening, but they sent in a report. They have stated junior high leadership spent the week last week celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week. We took a room service cart around with snacks and refreshments for teachers, and we collected appreciation Post-it notes from students to surprise our teachers with. We took 36 eighth graders to the Epicenter last Friday, the 8th, to celebrate their promotion to high school. They were treated to a trampoline park, unlimited arcade play, and a pizza lunch. They continue to recognize 2 students of the week every Friday during break time. And this one I'm pretty excited about. We actually have a board member from the food bank here who received this. So at the track meet, They sold agua frescas and they sold like 600 and some dollars worth of agua frescas at the track meet. And two of their students made a recommendation to their team to donate 500 of the $600 to the food bank. And so they raised $500 for the food bank by selling agua frescas and other drinks at the high school track meet. And the food bank board accepted the donation last Thursday. And we do have a food bank board member here. So we want to say thank you for accepting the money.
Wonderful. Good for them.
And just really obviously proud of our students. It was their idea to take that money and give to the food bank because they knew it was an organization in town that supports the local community and they really wanted to give back. And so it's just one more example of how great our students are.
Thank you for sharing that. 8.2 Calistoga High School student representative.
Yes, so she is absent because there are a group of seniors, I don't think all of them, that are going out of town for a senior trip. So I will be reading her report. Okay. So Itzia says, as senior students, we recognize how the lack of consequences at schools can negatively influence younger generations. When rules are not enforced, students may begin to believe that disrespectful behavior, poor decisions, or lack of responsibility are acceptable. This can create an environment where younger students stop taking academics, leadership, and school expectations seriously. Seniors have an important role in setting an example by showing maturity, accountability, and respect for others. We can work through this issue by encouraging positive behavior, supporting students who make good choices, and help create a school culture where responsibility and consequences are understood as part of growth and success. At the same time, this month has shown how our senior class can come together in positive ways. Prom was a huge success, bringing students together to celebrate safely and create lasting memories. The events throughout May have continued to show our class spirit, responsibility, and ability to make the most of our final year together. We look forward to planning our academic recognition for students, senior crowning, talent show, and our senior trip that happens tonight or tomorrow. As graduation gets closer, I can't wait to see what June has planned for us and to finish senior year with an even more unforgettable moment.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing that. That brings us to 8.3 Calistoga Associated Teachers.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to, following up on Staff Appreciation Week last week, I just wanted to highlight that we have amazing staff in Calistoga, and I just wanted to celebrate it with a little highlight reel of just a fraction of some of the great Calistoga Associated Teacher members and some of the things that are going on in the schools and in the classrooms, some of which you already know about, I'm sure, and some of which may not even be visible even at great events like open house night. So hopefully this is one of several highlight reels because only some of the people can be represented in a given presentation for all the great staff and the great things happening in our schools. One thing that's happened recently is Louise Owens and Eric Heights were Napa County Bicycle Advocates of the Year last year for starting the Riding for Focus SEL program at Calistoga Junior High School. So many things have happened because of Heather Brooks, and you can see a whole list there. Most recently, the U.S. National Invention Convention this year had Ford in Michigan, and we know about the MIT Invent Team and South by Southwest Innovation Awards. So we've gotten a lot of awards, a lot of press for several of our teachers. Most of you know me as a first and second grade teacher, but before that, I was teaching sixth grade students. Before that, I taught computer classes and gifted and talented program. So we actually accomplished some amazing things back then as well. Third and fourth graders won a Pollution Prevention Week video contest, which resulted in an assembly just for our elementary school by environmental activist Ed Begley Jr. And this group of fifth grade girls won the Smithsonian Lemelson Center for Innovation International Bennett contest. So that was reported by NPR radio. And then my class was featured in Time Magazine, in the center of Time Magazine in 2014, when I taught sixth grade. But the thing is, great things are happening in our schools, even when they're not winning awards and not making headlines. Right now, I'm very proud of the fact that my second graders for 2 years in a row are achieving better than 80% of students their age in the math portion of the MAP test. And that's just as much of an accomplishment that I'm proud of and proud of them for as anything else that's happened in my career. So sometimes the things are foundational and unsung, unseen, but they're still important. So let's take a look at a lot of those. Chris Schaefer is helping every child discover the joy of books and reading and sparking a love of science in her classroom. And that's for sure, because I've seen a student come up to me and say, I love science, out of the blue. Liz Graziani received a grant to introduce yoga to fourth graders, and every year she sees students start to believe in themselves and see themselves as writers, mathematicians, problem solvers, and cooperative learners. Katie Coop is passionate about showing Wildcats new experience through grants for field trips off campus and assemblies on campus, and her goal is to bring joy every day, and the best part is hearing, I love reading. These are things you might not see in a newspaper or an open house, but they're super important and super valuable. Daisy Bogart, Teacher of the Year, so you've heard about some of her stuff, but she uses creative and innovative projects, especially to build passion for learning and reading through Starbucks, the Starbucks book reading activity, Imagineer project, and students can connect to their past through letters that they write to themselves that they get mailed to themselves when they're seniors. John Lowell's been an avid teacher, coaching as an avid teacher for 16 years and helped many students meet A through G requirements to prepare and apply for college, often becoming the first in their family to attend and graduate college. Joey May, proud special education teacher and jogathon clown. Yes, every school needs one. He developed a Spanish and English multimedia website for parents and guardians to help them better understand their rights through the special education process. Marcy Solomon wants to highlight just the wonderful joy of learning that is brought to several of her students through mainstreaming in the classroom and inclusion of those students. And that's part of what allowed her to become a teacher who makes a difference in 2012 and 2019. Kendall Oggins, bilingual school counselor, has provided a lot of social emotional learning and support through Mindful Monday morning announcements, breathing tools of the month, Unity Day anti-bullying campaign, and student quotes are a wonderful way to gauge what's happening in our schools. I love being me. This is hard, but I can do it. I feel safe here. I am brave and I won't give up. Melanie Kastner, special education teacher, passionate about inclusion, building community relationships, and teaching life skills. And she received a grant to implement cooking in the classroom where students can learn how to budget, shop, and cook. Steve Morgan's living his dream of being a math teacher for the last 17 years, 7 of them here in Calistoga. And here's an example of something that makes learning interesting and fun in his classroom. He likes having the kids make up stories to represent the math. Molly Gambina, TK teacher, has created an engaging and enriching curriculum focusing on fine motor skills, monthly social emotional themes, letter sounds, number recognition. And she puts out monthly newsletters for parents about what they're learning and ways to engage at home and stay connected. TK, these foundational grades, you don't always see what's happening, but it's called a foundation for a reason. It allows all these impressive things to happen in the future. So super important, everybody in this process. Dr. Sager, Rebecca Sager, has students writing and reading music of their own creation, playing instruments, and has initiated cultural programs, including the Latin American Culture Celebration, Singing for Dia de los Muertos, and Multicultural Cante y Comparte. Tegan Henry's proud of her connections to family and to the community through bilingual communication and fostering a collaborative classroom with invitations for volunteer activities and events, as well as being a cross-country coach at the junior-senior high school. Carla Serber has done much for college and career explorations for students, designing career exploration programming for all students, founding the first internship and mentor programs, leading the district adoption of data and college planning platforms to track the outcomes, and increasing local scholarship funding by over 200% through donor development and retention. Dave Leonard, no words needed when a picture's worth 1,000 words. So you have if a picture's worth 1,000 words, you got 5,000 words worth of stuff being said here. And what it says is a joy of learning and teaching in his science classroom. And finally, Tyrone Sorrentino, finally for today, because this is only a fraction, this is only about a third of our members, but just a taste of all the great things that are happening. Tyrone Sorrentino wanted to remind everybody to come to the art show Friday, May 29th at the Brandon Center, 5 to 8 p.m. There'll be awesome art, live student music, and more. That's the final slide I think I have. Yeah. So I just wanted to showcase things that you might not see in a newspaper, you might not see even at open house. Sometimes the great things that are happening inside the hearts and the minds of teachers, inside the hearts and minds of students and families. And I think it's great to celebrate and to share that with you and with the whole community so that we can really understand what makes Calistoga great.
Great. Thank you for that. Next up is CSEA.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I don't have a presentation ready on what makes Calistoga great, but good evening, Dr. Pittman and members of the board. Last week, Monday, CSEA Chapter 555 negotiations team reached a tentative agreements with district negotiation teams. This work includes 5 MOUs and 10 tentative agreements.
Overall, the negotiations team worked to expand growth opportunities for classified staff and to provide enhancements for working conditions. Our next chapter meeting will be on 5/18, where we will have a vote with our members for ratification. While we didn't come to an agreement on everything, we focused on delivering as much as possible for members. The negotiations team put in countless hours researching language and crunching numbers to adjust allocations to what we believe is the best agreement possible. We would like to thank Shawana, our CSEA representative, who has shepherded our team through the many processes required to reach tentative agreement. It's incredibly bureaucratic.
And in the spirit of appreciation, we would like to recognize the staff of CJUSD. Their dedication and care enable students to feel safe, supported, welcome, and ready to learn. We rely on each other as a team, and sincerely, we say thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Next is Calistoga Elementary School.
Good evening, guests. Good evening, school board. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm going to keep it's under 3 minutes, but we have some fun just things happening in our schools. A busy end of the year with Goal 1 academics, Goal 2 school environment, and Goal 3 is our parent engagement. So we're in CASP testing. Our state assessments are in full swing. This week we have grades 4 and 5. Last week we had grades 5 and 6. We are currently preparing orders for books and consumables now for the next school year. So I know a lot of teachers are making sure that we're paying attention to that. So we are. We had a very successful master schedule release day where we took the day, we had a team of people, and I felt like it was very productive and with a perky pace. We had a couple of changes like moving our end of the day recess 15 minutes earlier so that we have a longer chunk of time for the younger grades to have focused learning time in the afternoon. And we're going to try something new, focusing on data. We discovered that our first and second grade students next year will need a little more love. And we're talking about academic love here. So it's first and second grade. They will have a combined lab time. So that's the learning acceleration block. And we're hoping that this is something we observed in another school, McPherson and Napa, that they have a 2 grade level like combined mode when they do this intervention time. And so that's going to allow us to have a more really laser-like focus on this strategic intervention specific to the targets of those students. So we have our fingers crossed and we're hopeful, but it was really, I don't know, I felt like people were trusting each other and we're going to take a chance, but we have to try something. So this feels good. We are in the middle of the reading challenge. It's the World Cup theme. I think you'll hear about a little bit more about that later today. For Goal 2, our school environment, we had 5th graders safely return from Marin Headlands. And now this week, the 6th graders are in Yosemite. They left this morning and we have news that they did arrive and they had been settled in their cabins and they were getting dinner. So that's exciting. We did have staff appreciation last week and the staff was showered with foods from the site and district admin. The Seroptimus Landmark Construction, woot woot. They brought donuts and coffee. We didn't even have them on the list, so it was kind of exciting. The parent-teacher organization from, here was breakfast and lunch and snack buffets, and then the really special green Wildcat shirt. We all felt the love. So thank you to any community members that are here tonight or watching at home that helped make those donations for those shirts. Yeah, thank you. We appreciated that. We even had a mini dress-up day last week called Our Staff Rocks, where kids could wear their rock band t-shirts and sunglasses. Kids made cards of appreciation at for their teachers at the open house, the welcome area. It was pretty sweet on that part. Okay. I had so many things here. Return safe to them head. We got that part. I did send home some letters. It was a copy of the school calendar to some students who only have 16 and 17 days of absence because we're trying to reduce the number of students who are chronically absent. So we were trying to encourage them that with only less than 20 days left, hopefully they could attend school all those days. And I mentioned all the fun things we had coming up. As far as goal 3 with parent engagement, it's really sweet when you have families coming to send off their students on a field trip. I mean, we really have a lot of families that it's a very loving moment and very sweet to see. The open house was a success. It felt like a party in front of our school we had 7 community partners and school groups that were just hosting tables and giving out information. Moni G was getting surveys, asking parents for their input, and students had to help. It was really neat that students saw their current year classrooms, but also they got a little brave and checked out classrooms for their next year grade level. And we have more opportunities for parents to get involved this year. We have DLAC meetings at the end of this month, 1 on Zoom at night and 1 in the morning in person. Volunteer opportunities for the school carnival. So if you have any high school volunteers on Friday, June 5th, we will take them, Carla Serber. And student trimester 3 awards assemblies, we have those set for Monday, June 8th. So we will send invites out to those students impacted in a positive way. But that's all we have here tonight. Thank you. And I do have to take off for another meeting in Santa Rosa, so appreciate the time.
Thank you for the report. 8.6, Calistoga Junior Senior High School Principal.
Good evening, everyone. In regards to LCAP Goal 1, ensuring academic excellence for all students, CJSHS proctored the English Language Arts and Math CASP assessments for grades 7, 8, and 11 at the end of April. The CASP Science Assessment was also given to students in grades 8 and 11. Despite a modified schedule that included 5 days of testing at the start of the day, CJSHS continues to work on makeups. However, I am excited to share at the end of today, we were at 18, which is a huge improvement because we were at 51 at the end of last week. So 18 is great progress for us. CJSHS is encouraging students to take their time and try their best on the assessments, and we are noticing that more time will need to be allotted for the 26-27 school year. Additionally, students are engaging in 10-minute appointments with Counselor Ms. Craig Morales to review their course selection and ensure that they have all courses needed to meet graduation and post-secondary goals. During our last PLC and staff meeting, teachers helped complete the intervention recommendations using CASP, LPAC, and MAP assessments, along with current performance in classes. This process in the past has primarily been completed by English, math, and special education teachers. However, our goal is to include more teachers in this process as it provides a broader perspective and insight into student growth and potential. In regards to LCAP Goal 2, provide a safe, healthy, and positive school environment, CJSHS Wild Week 2.0 included several presentations and activities for student learning and engagement. Wild Week, which stands for Wildcats Get Informed, Level Up, and Discover, allows for us to provide extra workshops and creative opportunities for learning during the extended testing blocks. We had presentations and activities on tobacco education, financial awareness, self-defense and awareness, sexual abuse, assault prevention education. A special shout out to our LMIT Inventing Smart Solutions and Invent team, wellness cafes, and a wellness fair and career fair. Feedback post Wild Week was mostly positive. However, the challenges we face involve our scheduled time with each group and our facilities challenges. We do max out every single space on our campus. And part of our challenge with our presenters is most presenters want to come for one day
And so that means we have to do a large group, and it's preferred to do smaller groups. And so that's a challenge that we will try and find a solution to. We will continue to reflect and refine this process so that we can provide small youth-driven and youth-led group activities, which are preferred by students and staff. Additionally, during the month of May, we have the annual 8th grade end of year trip, which was just last Friday, and Wednesday, day after tomorrow, we have a junior high trip to Angel Island. The high school leadership class also worked diligently to plan all the details for prom, which was just this past Saturday, and it seemed that everyone had an amazing time. We had about 100 students participate, which is more than last year. It was right here at the Mark West Lodge. And the only challenge we really had were the buses. But we made it in 4 smaller buses, and it all worked out. And the leadership kids did a great job. They came back afterwards, unloaded the U-Haul, and were done before midnight, which is record time. LCAP Goal 3, increase parent engagement, enhance communication. CJSHS will hold its last coffee with the principal on this Thursday, May 14th at 8:30 a.m. We look forward to meeting with parents during this time. And then on Friday, May 15th, we will host our first open mic. We look forward to giving our students and community an opportunity to share their talents. We look forward to a continued collaboration with SoberGrad at this event and hope that our community will also join us to celebrate our students. Are there any questions? It will be here outdoors in our quad. Yes. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next up, 8.7, Director of Educational Services and Human Resources.
Okay, good evening. I really appreciate the celebratory vibe tonight. Though I'm looking at my report, the first item is mandated staff trainings update. So I suppose I should reflect a little bit. I'm inspired. I want to do a slideshow about the confidential and management staff as well, because we have great staff throughout the district. I think Matt's touching on something that is important. We have amazing staff throughout Calistoga, and we have amazing staff in all of our groups, right? In that same vein, Napa County's Most Excellent School Staff Celebration is this Wednesday at 4 o'clock at Napa at NCOE. Veronica Montanez and Alex Andari will be honored as County Employees of the Year. So if you happen to make your way to Napa at 4 o'clock, that's where the celebration will take place. The rest of my report is quite technical, but it's important. So I'll share it with you. Mandated trainings, yes. So next year we're switching from Target Solutions to Public Schoolworks. It's a new platform. It's going to be better. It'll be updated and modern interface. Our old one was really antiquated, and all of the trainings will be available in Spanish. But really the reason I bring it up, and I touched on this back in December, I just want to touch it again today, is SB 848, right? It's this new law that requires all volunteers take a mandated reporter training and a child abuse prevention training. And those are good things, right? We want our volunteers to know about those things. I think ultimately it makes our children safer. That being said, we have 400 volunteers. And so that's 3 times the amount of individuals as we have staff. And so we'll be reaching out this month to confirm which of those volunteers want to continue volunteering, and then we'll start early. I think we'll start in July, getting those trainings out there. What we don't want for this is for this well-intended law to become a barrier and have a parent say, I want to go with my child on that field trip. Yes, but you need to take these trainings. And if we have to say that because that's the law, then we want to say it early. We want to say it in July and start to get that process going as soon as possible. But this will be a new annual requirement. We'll also work with our staff to identify volunteers early, because if you want volunteers to go on your field trip, you've got to notify them and the district as soon as possible so that we can have time to have those trainings to take place. If we get told 2 days before the field trip, then it does become a barrier, right? Okay. Also tonight, I want to provide a student wellness update. I don't think I've really shared anything about CYBHI, and it's a big deal, so I do want to share it. Children and Youth Behavioral Initiative, CYBHI, from the Department of Health. They have $4.7 billion that they're devoting to improving youth behavioral and mental health outcomes. And part of the vision is to serve students where they're at. And youth spend a lot of time in schools. So if we're going to try to get mental health services or services to students, schools is an ideal place versus trying to find a student after school and connect them with a provider. And so a lot of this work is focused on schools. The funding is designed at least partially to help fund or sustain counselor and mental health positions, including the new wellness coaches or specialists, which are a direct manifestation of CYBHI. Remarkably, they've developed a fee schedule for private insurance companies and Medi-Cal, so that things like individual counseling, group counseling, social skills groups, these things that schools do that are medical services can now be billed to the insurance company. So we will submit a reimbursement that will go through the state and it will tap into the insurance company who will fund it back to the school district. There will be, in terms of the private insurance company, there's no cost to the family. It doesn't count against copays, doesn't count against medical caps. The family doesn't even get notified. Like typically when you go to the doctor, you get a bunch of follow-up paperwork. There's no paperwork. It just is a funding stream that's been agreed to between the state and the insurance companies and leveraging some of this $4.7 billion. Our staff who are involved have been trained. They're ready to file for reimbursement. Families in the fall will get 2 documents, a consent to treat, a consent to bill, as part of their ARIES document confirmation that they can choose to sign or not. But ultimately, this is it's a big shift in how we approach supporting student mental health. We've partnered very closely with Napa County on this, so we're excited. We're excited to see the shift and for the increased state funds to ultimately impact how we serve students. Related to that, we currently have a wellness screener that students, I think 3 through 12 take. It's focused around SEL skills and competencies like self-awareness, relationship skills, perseverance, those types of things. And we've had that data. And to some degree, we've used that data and leveraged it in our work, especially as it relates to SEL curriculum. But I think it's time to pause that and do some substantial planning on rethinking what that screener looks at. We need to really focus on identifying students who have a need for wellness support, not just what skills do they have. We currently have a referral system, so teachers, parents, students themselves can refer for mental health services and supports. We would keep that, but having some data on who really needs those supports so that we don't miss any students that aren't being referred, I think is the direction we need to head. But next year will be a planning year and a pilot year so that we can look for a full district-wide rollout of a new screener in 27-28. And then lastly, screen time recommendations. And it sounds like we had a letter to the board. This is a fascinating topic. I don't know that I've seen something like so quickly evolve. You know, no one was really talking about screen time recommendations in August, right? Or September. It wasn't a topic we started this year talking about. And now you fast forward, there are a number of really significant laws that have been passed in the last few months. I'll just share some because they're significant. Utah passed a total ban on screen time for grades K3. So the whole state of Utah, no screens K3. Kansas, all K5 materials must be print-based. Missouri, 75% of elementary school work, all elementary school work must be paper pencil. Alabama, no tech and pre-K, strict time limits on other grade levels. Virginia, strict time limits set by grade level. Tennessee, similar. Seattle's talking about, they're debating like parent opt-out, like a curriculum opt-out, like a parent could opt out of, I don't want my child to do assignments on tech, right? LAUSD, yes, their board just passed a resolution, has a total ban on tech and screens from grades TK through 1 and grade level caps. So yeah, it is a nationwide conversation. We're hearing it from our staff who want to engage in the conversation. I think where we're heading is I do think we need to, I don't think a knee-jerk reaction is the way to go and doing something tomorrow. I think we need to really understand the values of our staff, our families, our students. Similar to our homework policy or our cell phone use process, I think we really need to take a minute to understand what our culture is. There's a lot of hard questions and answers. You know, hard lines or bans on tech versus teacher discretion. Some techs preferable to others. There's a lot to look at. What I will say is we've got a great starting point. We use a platform called Lightspeed, and we know right now in real time how many minutes a day first grade is spending on tech, how many days, how many hours a day, second grade, third grade, et cetera. So it's not, we don't have to try to figure that out or survey or do observations. We know what that data looks like, but we do need to make some collective decisions on where we want to go. We also don't know what California is going to do. We have not heard from the state legislature on this issue. We have not heard from the CDE. I think the goal, a reasonable goal would be to have a policy recommendation next year after we've had a chance to explore with our stakeholders and something that strikes the right balance between prioritizing student well-being, but also using technology where it can help learning, where it can prepare our students for the world that they'll be entering when they leave schools. That's my report for tonight. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Michael. 8.8, Director of Business Services.
Good evening. I'm going to start out with some state budget updates. Last month, I told you that the May revision may be out by today when I met with you again, but it's not out quite yet. But we have been receiving updates from capital advisors in regards to some of the topics being discussed at the state level. COLA has been increased from 2.41 to 2.87. And so that is a final number and calculation that we should see in the state adopted budget in June. Revenues are coming into the state in income tax, sales tax, and capital gains, and they're far exceeding the budget projections by 15 to 20 billion for both 25-26 and 26-27. This increases Prop 98 guarantee by 6 to 8 billion, but the governor in January proposed to underfund Prop 98 by 5.6 billion in 26-27. Most of us believe that that move would be an illegal move on his part, but we'll see more of that in the May revision and what his plan is. With the larger Prop 98 guarantee for 26-27, we are looking at some one-time funds. As I have also mentioned before, the total amount remains to be seen as there's much discussion in whether or not these funds should be ongoing in ADA school districts, of which we would see none of, or if they do come in one-time funds, we will be able to see those funds, but we don't know how much per student at this point yet. Capital advisors are advocating for the ongoing funds as school districts are struggling with only receiving COLA and having to pay out cost increases in salary and benefits, year-over-year increases in utilities and other contracts, and their declining enrollment. So the 2.87 COLA is not covering their general fund expenditures year-over-year. I will be attending multiple budget meetings next week to get the details of the May revision and to assist with our budget development. Speaking of budget development, I'm heavy into the 26-27 budget development right now, as well as updating our 25-26 projected year totals. Because we are only budgeting for a 3.5% increase in revenue, yet we have offered over 4.25% in ongoing salaries and benefits enhancements, plus all the typical year-over-year increases like I just spoke about, step and column, utilities, contract updates. We are definitely going to be far exceeding our expenditure totals to our income for next year. In addition to removing all the one-time purchases for 25-26 and decreasing our food offerings at various district meetings, I will be also proposing a 10% reduction in supplies and services throughout our general fund budget as one way to help decrease spending. We're also looking at reducing some of our professional development expenses in 26-27. We're meeting with our budget committee on May 19th, and we will be discussing all of those reductions. I will bring a report to the board in June regarding how many times we met as a budget committee and what things were recommended from the budget committee. And that will be part of my 26-27 budget hearing when we meet on June 8th. We had our bond sale on Tuesday, May 6th. We had a $9 million Measure B bond sale, and then we restructured some Measure A funds at $2.795 million. And the sale window was open for a couple of hours on Tuesday, May 6th, and we sold about 7.9 of the 11.745 million. The remaining 3.795 million is taken up by our bond investment company, Stifel. They essentially take on that remaining amount, and then they continue to sell those amounts as the weeks go on. To date, they have sold all but 150,000 of that 3.795 million, and they will continue to work on that final 150,000 in the next couple of days. This is actually a fascinating process from beginning to end. The day before the sale, we get a rating call with Stifel. We look at the market conditions to see how successful we might be in the marketplace the next morning compared to other school districts who have recently sold bonds. What it boils down to for Calistoga is that we are a small but mighty school district when it comes to our finances. Even though we're not selling bonds in the $20 to $50 million range like other school districts or the $550 million range like LA Unified, we do have the best rating a school district can receive in order to sell bonds, and that's an AA1 rating. This helps us in the market. This helps us in the marketplace with the yield spread of the maturities as well as the interest rate. We continue to maintain this rating because we have great financial stability in this school district and we have good fiscal management within our school district. We want to make sure we continue to operate with this standing in our future for a final Measure B sale, and if the district decides to refinance any bonds in the future to save taxpayers money. That is all I have for you tonight, unless you have questions.
Thank you, Maureen. That brings us to 8.9, Director of Facilities, Maintenance and Operations.
It's not here tonight. There is no.
So then 8.10, Superintendent.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. It was already mentioned several times. The first thing I want to talk about is Staff Appreciation Week, which was last week. So we were able to celebrate all staff, as we do in Calistoga. It's been going on for many years. The state of California recognizes last week officially as Teachers Week, next week officially as Classified Week. But because we are a small, tight-knit community, we choose one week where we celebrate everybody. And so every day, staff received some sort of food or gift spread throughout the week, as was previously shared, received from site admin, PTO, thank you, Seroptimus, thank you. I was unaware of Landmark until tonight. I was like, what did they bring? And they only did CES because they were doing the building over there. And then also, as was mentioned, we are able to get donations every year from various companies that support us in order to buy everyone a gift. And so these are our new gifts for the year. Green t-shirts. There's a unisex cut as well as a woman's cut for anybody who to choose what it is that they wanted. So I'm excited. Hopefully there'll be a day where we all wear it on the exact same day. So I'm pretty excited about that. I ended the week with telling staff about it and recognizing that while it's 1 week that we officially celebrate this, our staff is appreciated indefinitely for all the hard work and all the devotion that they give to our students and our families and our community. And so we are a very special place, and we're really proud of the work that we do here. And that's why we want to celebrate Staff Appreciation Week. So while it might be held to 1 week, it's extended every day that we work with our community. Last month, I shared that Ms. Baldenegger and I had met with Parks and Rec to talk about ways that we could support our students. They have agreed to host an open field night starting this summer for 1 night a week. So they will open up our field and oversee it open to the community and our students. So they can come and have kind of like open gym, but it'll be open field. So we're pretty excited that we actually have a partnership with the city and that they're going to take over the lead in terms of that. Last week, I was actually surprised that Mr. Heights didn't do a public comment about this. Last week, Mr. Heights, represented as an AD, went to the Press Democrat All-Star Athlete Awards 29th Annual Award Ceremony, where they recognized 60 athletes across Sonoma and Napa County. Well, I guess it'd just be Sonoma County, and that's right. Yeah. We were right, because we're also Sonoma. And so they recognized 60 students, of which 3 of them were ours. That sounds like a pretty high return rate for a small school. So I want to recognize Diego Perez Herrera, Lily Hernandez, and Karen Quiapo, who were honored. Of those 60, they then take 8 of those students and they receive top honors overall, as well as receiving a $500 scholarship. And Diego Perez Herrera was one of those 8. So that's pretty exciting. Yes. And thank you, Mr. Heights, for going and representing and being there to support our students. Today, we had our district impact team meeting, the last meeting of the year. We reviewed our LCAP survey results and talked about a communication plan. We created our 1-pagers, which should have been shared at the junior senior high school staff meeting today or tomorrow. Was it shared? Tomorrow. Okay. Because it's the last one of the year. And then we're going to share it with the June board meeting. And we are going to share it at the last CES staff meeting, which is the first week in June. We also talked about how we plan on communicating to our parents and to our students. So we've got some different ways that are planned for that. We also reviewed our goals and actions. So thinking about what our 3 goals were, what they actually look like. And between our last meeting and this meeting, we talked about qualitative data that we were able to select. So at various parent nights, we surveyed our parents related to what days of the week they want to meet, what times of the day, and what topics they want to review. And so we reviewed that to help us plan for next year. We had student interviews. Mr. Sorrentino met with his CAP advisory and got input from our students around sense of belonging and connectedness and finding out more information on how we can serve our students. And then we had asked various teachers on what instructional practices are working that you see actually happening in class. And so we talked a lot about, for example, our labs, how those are working, and our work around literacy. And so all of these will be shared at our June board meeting when we go over the LCAP for next year. We have some upcoming awards nights. So this Wednesday is the Seroptimus Awards Night, which will be here in the multipurpose room. Thursday is the CTE Student Achievement Award. So we have CTE students that are recognized and will be down in Napa with all the CTE representation from the county. I'm not going to talk about the staff award because Michael already did. And then we have Senior Awards Night or Wildcat Scholar Night is next Wednesday, May 20th. To honor our seniors and to give them the scholarships that they have earned, which is it's a pretty exciting night. This Friday, we're doing our TK Punch Walk. And so that means that we're actually going to go with the construction company and go through the building, and it should be 99.9% complete for the building, not for the outside. And go through and see what minor things, like does some paint need to be touched up? Is an outlet missing? Those types of things. So that'll happen on Friday, which puts us one step closer for them releasing the building to us, which is pretty exciting. And we will plan a ribbon cutting and opening ceremony for August before we come back to school. Our Calistoga Community Conversation or Town Hall is scheduled for Thursday, May 21st. So we're partnering with Up Valley and Public Health to plan a beautiful evening. It'll be here that night, here in the multipurpose room. So pretty excited to have that night again, to reach out to our community and talk about what's going on in the community, what's going on at our schools, the fairgrounds, lighting, safety for bikes and walking through the community. So a lot of good topics. So we'll push out a flyer that can go out so that we can make sure that people can come and be a part of that conversation. Friday, May 22nd is a fire recovery day that we have not had to use. And so that it be released. So there's no school. It's a bonus. No school on Friday, May 22nd, making it a 4-day weekend. Well-deserved time off for some individuals. Already mentioned, but I do want to reiterate, pretty excited. The annual art show is Friday, May 29th from 5 to 8. We are partnering at the Brannon Center. It's going to be held at the Brannon Center. We are also partnering, so our students from Mr. Sorrentino's class is going to have all of their artwork up. And it's just going to be a completely elevated experience because it's going to be a beautiful facility. And so Mr. Sorrentino is taking care of all of that. In addition, we are going to be partnering with Napa Valley Ed Foundation to do wine service so that we can elevate it in Calistoga. So it'll be an opportunity for our community to come to see the beautiful artwork that our students do and to have a glass of wine as if they were at a real art show. Not a professional art show, I'll say. That's the word I should say, professional art show. Oh yeah, live music, 2 bands, student bands are going to be performing. Pretty excited about that. And then the wine sales, Mr. Sorrentino has been gracious enough to balance with us. And so the money that is raised from the wine sales will go to support our MIT team, our MENT team, to get them to Detroit. And so that'll be one of the fundraisers that we're doing to help us fund their trip. So pretty excited about that. And then the last thing is we're getting ready for season 4 of our adult co-ed. Happens this summer. We have some players in the room. Raise your hand. And so that's, I just want to share. Let's get ready to start that last week of June. And that's my report.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 9, the consent agenda, which requires a roll call vote. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff request specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. So the recommended action is to approve the consent agenda as presented. Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then this is a roll call vote. So Student Representative Enriquez is absent. President Reed, aye. Clerk Rios?
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Rothberg Allen?
Aye.
10 action items. Protocol for action items includes a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. 10.2, declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
The declaration of need. Is that on? It's not. All right. This is the Declaration of Need, affectionately known as the DON. This is a California Commission on Teacher Credentialing document that school districts must have on file each year to employ educators who have emergency permits or limited assignment permits. I can't remember us ever using this, but we do file it every year should the circumstance arise, and we present it to you for your approval.
Again.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 10.3, memorandum of understanding with the Napa County Office of Education regarding ACE expanded learning programming.
Is that me?
Thanks, Michael.
Did not know that. We have an ongoing agreement with NCOE to provide services to the district through our ACE program. This is really a continuation of that agreement. It's certainly mutually beneficial to our students who participate in after-school programming. I think the change is we're bringing back AmeriCorps. Yeah. So AmeriCorps, they've had AmeriCorps staff support our junior, senior high school for years. That went away with some issues that were happening. But they're able to bring it back next year. So that is the one change from last year's document.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
10.4, updated hourly salary schedule.
This is me. I see you put all mine together. That's making perfect sense now. Okay. So we have this, we have a salary schedule. It's our hourly and co-curricular salary schedule where we post rates because we have to have rates to make sure that staff can be paid. And in this circumstance, we are updating one item, which is the summer school principal compensation. And what we looked at was when this was put on the salary schedule, I think in 2022. Since then, we've really had agreements primarily with CAT that stipends go up each year as the salary schedule increases. And this may be the only stipend that doesn't apply to. And so as a matter of equity, we've gone back to 2022 and applied those percent increases to the summer school principal rate. I think it started at $10,500. And with the adjustments, it will now go to $12,290.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. 10.5, updated transportation plan.
Okay, AB 181 was established to allow school districts to receive extra transportation funding if the school district established, published, and updated their transportation plan. Requirements also included sending this initial plan out to parents and making sure our plans were posted on our website. Tonight, that same plan is before you. We do not have home to school transportation for our students currently. We did offer this service back in 2019, 2020, but we were only transporting an average of 18 to 30 students daily. And we were paying an outside contract over $100,000 to do that. After COVID, when we could no longer get a contracted driver to drive our bus, we had to eliminate transportation from home to school. It was at that time we changed to only transporting our special ed students who had an IEP that addressed transportation in their IEP. Currently, we are receiving a little over $13,000 a year for this, and providing you approve this plan tonight, we will be able to receive $20,425 going forward.
Oh.
Motion. Indira? Okay.
Carl, okay, all in favor? Aye, very good, thank you. 10.6, contract with Cars Construction Service, Inc. for the Calistoga Elementary School and Calistoga Junior Senior High School Generators Project.
So this is for the installation of our two generators. So both the elementary school and the junior high school project consists of the installation and hookup of generators on both campuses. Generators have been sitting over here since we received them. They'll serve as temporary power for each campus in the event of a power shutdown event. And this is an emergency event. As we know, Calistoga has built the generators over off of Washington, those are only for planned outages. And so anytime that we have an emergency and it's an unexpected power outage, that does not turn our power back on. And last June, we probably lost power 6 or 7 times within a 2 to 3 week span. So it's really important that we continue to have power. And so that's one of the reasons why we're moving forward with this. On April 20th, construction management staff held a job walk for both school sites. 8 general contractors attended. Of the 8 general contractors, 4 submitted bids at the bid opening, which was held on May 1st. The lowest responsive bid received was from Cars Construction Services with a bid of $1,302,000. This work is scheduled to begin this summer and complete by January of 27. The idea is they're going to start most of the work this summer, as Kelly talked about when she talked about the bond update. And then when we get our switch gear, then we'll finish that when that actually shows up, so that we'll be out of power for as little time as possible. So we recommend that the board approve the contract with Cars Construction Service. For the junior senior high school, it's actually going to be over by the district office, so by the maintenance and by that electrical. And then for the elementary school, it's by the electrical in the front. And so we'll build a taller fence so that you wouldn't see it, so it would cover that up.
So is the thought that we need the generators, so if there's unexpected power outages, we can still continue to have school? Is there any, if like the whole town loses power, is there an opportunity to partner with the town to provide? Okay.
No, I did research that because when this first started, I started having conversations, and the problem with that is that it would put us on a whole different grid. And you can't have 2 grids running at one time.
Oh, no, I meant more along the lines of if the town loses power and people in the community need to charge their phones or
Oh,
a
that's a
place
convers-
to
yeah.
warm up. or
Okay, so then that's
yeah.
a conversation we would have. Yes, there are opportunities for
Okay,
that, depending upon when it happens during school out, whether it's during school.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not. Yeah, we would be able to have those conversations if necessary. But the city also has their own generator that runs the community center. So if that happened, they should be able to do that. And then, yeah, if we needed to partner, we could. Because I think in the past, like on heat days, we've partnered because this space is much cooler than the community center.
It's more comfortable space.
And just for clarification, the generators, do they power the entire campus?
Yes.
Site, so it's as if
It-
the normal power.
Correct. Yep. Both the one for the junior senior high school will power the junior senior high school, the maintenance yard, as well as the district office. And then the elementary one will power the elementary school. Yeah, so it should kick on and everything will run as if it were normal. That's the intent.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, 10.7, agreement with Economy Lock and Key Incorporated for the rekeying of Calistoga Elementary School.
So last year we rekeyed the junior senior high school. So this is us moving forward to rekey the elementary school. So this agreement serves as a formal contract between the district and Economy Lock and Key. The contractor is responsible for furnishing all labor, equipment, and materials necessary to perform the work in a good and workmanlike manner for a total contract sum of $32,638.03. The work is scheduled to begin no later than June 11th, but it's really going to go during summer. And then will be completed before the new school year starts. So we recommend that you approve the contract.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yes. Yeah, it wouldn't impact that.
10.8, agreement with Meteor Education for CES TK Kinder classrooms.
Yeah, so we're excited with our new TK building. We're going to get new furniture specifically for TK and kindergarten. So this agreement is a quote from Meteor for the procurement and installation of furniture and equipment for the new TK Kinder classrooms at Calistoga Elementary School. The project involves outfitting the 4 classrooms with items such as teacher desks, student seating, activity tables, and rugs for a total cost of $118,791.05. The total includes the cost of products, installation, freight, and sales tax, and prices remaining valid through May 9th. They're still valid. We actually met, this was a whole process. We met with the TK kindergarten teachers. We had them look at the furniture, tell us what it was that they wanted, because those are very specific classes, before we landed on what it is that we're purchasing. So they had a lot of voice in the selection. So we ask that you approve this contract.
So moved. Second.
Favor? Aye.
Aye.
10.9, agreement with Meteor Education for CJSHS outdoor furniture.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about this. We have a new STEM building, we have a new concession stand, and there's no seating or furniture outside to enjoy like on a beautiful day like today. So this quote from Meteor provides a total estimate of $60,469.94 for outdoor furniture and trash receptacles at Calistoga Junior Senior High School. The proposed site improvements include green perforated benches, picnic tables, and square slat recycling and trash receptacles. So there'll be benches in between the admin building and the STEM in between the trees. There'll be a table over by the tree outside of the STEM building in between them and construction. And then we have tables for the concession stands. So we ask that you approve the contract.
Move.
Favor?
Aye.
Who gave the second? Thank you.
10.10, agreement and proposal with Persinger Architects and Associates Incorporated for CJSHS portables and fencing.
So with the addition of our new TK building, we are able to remove the two portables that exist at the elementary school. And so this contract is to take those two portables and relocate them over to both the district office in between the maintenance yard and the district office will be one of them. And then the other one will come over to the junior senior high school for a dedicated PE classroom. So they won't have to borrow classrooms anymore. They will have their own dedicated space. So we ask that you, so the contract is for a total project cost of $993,000. Both the initial proposal and the final agreement outline specific fee structures, such as a maximum of $600 for reimbursable expenses and hourly rates, ranging from $208 to $207. So we ask that you approve this contract.
Just to add to that really quick, the fencing part of this contract has to do with closing all the gaps around campus. And so that's what they added to the scope of work. No, not at the
No,
elementary
just
school,
the-
here at
just
this
here.
campus.
Just here. Okay. What will the portable be used between the district and the maintenance yard?
So it's gonna be more office space and workspace.
Okay. And where will?
As was stated, we're limited on the space.
Where will the permanent PE classroom be?
We are looking at over right next to Palisades so that it will be easy to connect power, water, electricity, data. Yes. And that'll all happen this summer. Done before the school year starts.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 11, closing items. Have any board member reports?
I just have a few notes. One, my fifth grader was very excited to return from Marin Headlands. Well, she wasn't excited to return. I was excited for her to return. But she had an incredible time. And it definitely brought back a lot of memories from myself going to Marin Headlands in fifth grade. And she actually used the same sleeping bag. For better or for worse. Yeah. Also attending the open house last week was great and going around and visiting classrooms and also showing my youngest where her new TK building is going to be when she starts in August. So it was a very exciting time and also to see families come out and visiting all the classrooms and the wellness center. And it was a great, oh, and the world famous book fair, also very, very well visited. Also, I liked seeing the Sober Grad Night fundraiser at the citywide yard sale. Selling food is always a good way to get people there. Planned out my whole week of meals with those tamales, so that was perfect. And then just to touch on the technology policy that was brought up a few times tonight. I do agree that we shouldn't just make a knee-jerk reaction. I think our teachers and staff have spent a lot of time and energy looking into apps and different technology programs that they use every day in the classroom. Not to say that we shouldn't take a look at it and see what's working and what isn't. I think there's always a way to achieve balance, but I do think that it will be very important to work with the teachers on this, as they're the ones that are in the classroom and they're the ones that are doing a majority of the legwork and the research of those programs that are used day in and day out. So I think it would be something worth visiting. I know it's a very busy time of the year. Not saying it needs to be done to change policy by next school year, but I do think that we should keep it on the front burner. I also appreciate everyone going over all of the dates for the various events that are going to be between now and graduation, because there are 8 or 9 evenings of events that are coming up. So that's really fun to see different ways for our staff and students and community members to be celebrated. So I appreciate that.
Well, I'd just like to quickly say that I went to the swim meet final, which was really well organized, really well done. And it was great to see so much support that the team gave each other. They were very supportive of them, of everyone, and as well as all the other teams. Just the level of camaraderie and good sports behavior was very high, and it was wonderful to see. And we set a lot of personal records there, so that was fun too. Okay, so 11.2 board meeting calendar. We have 2 meetings next month, June 8th and June 22nd. Open session for both will start at 6 o'clock here. And tentative future agenda items include the 25-26 budget or 26-27? And LCAP. And we have no need to reconvene to close session. So 11.6.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Guys, look, good job. There we go.